If you didn't, I hope you can still find a spot. So we have x squared minus 3x minus 40. So this is the first application of factoring. The left-hand side has to be factored, and then we get the solutions. That's it. There is nothing else. It's in descending order, no greatest common factor, no negative leading coefficient, no special product. 1 as the leading coefficient. Can anyone tell us how to factor this? Can anyone come up with a factored form? If you need me to show how, please say so.
Can you please show us?
Sure. So 1 is the leading coefficient, so we know we need to find two numbers whose product is negative 40 and whose sum is always the middle coefficient. Because if the product is negative, we want to find the positive and the negative. So we need to determine two numbers whose product is negative 40 and whose sum is negative 3. Are there two numbers that we multiply to get negative 40 and we add the same numbers to get negative 3? Anybody? Please help. Can anyone help us find two numbers whose product is negative 40 and whose sum is negative 3? Yes? No? Can anyone help? Can anyone help, please, finding two numbers whose product is negative 40 and whose sum is negative 3?
Would that be 5 and negative 8?
Perfect. That's all we need. X minus 5, x plus 5, x minus 8. That's it. That is it. And now, let's find the numbers. So if the first factor is 0, we write x plus 5 equals 0, so x equals negative 5. If the second factor is 0, we know how to solve these linear equations. So the two solutions in this case are negative 5 and 8. Any questions on this problem? Rachel, is this okay?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So let's move on. Is it understood now what you need to do on these problems?
No. No.
Okay, but you said yes, so let's go back. What is not clear here?
Oh, that one's fine.
Oh, okay. Good. So let's continue. Are we interested in number 2? Okay. Are we interested in number 3?
Yep.
Good. Number 3 is different. I would have chosen even if you didn't say anything. So 16x squared plus 2x minus 3 equals 0. The same idea. They're all the same. All we have to do is factor the left-hand side. But this is more difficult to factor than this one. There is no special product, and the leading coefficient is not 1. So this is the very last option we have. So again, I have to, in my mind, quickly go through the steps. It's in descending order, no greatest common factor, no negative leading coefficient. A special product is not applicable here. This is a perfect square, but this one isn't. And 1 is not the leading coefficient. So this time I need two numbers whose product is this, which is negative 48, and whose sum, the sum never changes, is 2. So this is slightly more difficult because of, maybe because of the 48 number. But first of all, the analysis follows as the next step is this, clear. The product is negative, which means one is positive and one is negative. Let's take 48 aside. So 48 is 2 and 24, prime factorization, 2 and 12, 2 and 6, 2 and 3. So that's all we have, and we have to use them all. From 2, 2, 2, 2, and 3, we have to find two numbers, one negative and one positive. The positive one has to be bigger, because when I subtract, I get a positive number. Using all these factors, and get, when we multiply them, we get this. When we add them, we get this. How would you group these factors? Which numbers will work? Only those two numbers will work. We cannot find another set of numbers that works. This is the only one. Two numbers whose product is negative 48 and whose sum is 2. Anyone, please?
Negative 8 and 6.
Negative 8 and 6. You mean 8 and negative 6. Because the sum is positive. So positive 8 times negative 6 is correct. Positive 8 minus 6 is correct. Now what happens next is we need to replace this term using these numbers. Why? What is different here? The 1 as the leading coefficient is different. That's why here we did not need to do that. But here, because the leading coefficient is not 1, we have to. So we have 16x squared plus 8x minus 6x minus 3 equals 0. And we know we have 4 terms. If you go back and combine like terms, you will never get to the result. Do not fall into that trap. Now we're looking at the first 2 terms, and we have to factor out something. What is the greatest common factor of the first 2 terms?
$8x.
Very good, awesome. What is left in parentheses?
$2x plus 1.
Very good. Do not uncover. Copy 2x plus 1. If you do not copy the equal symbol and 0, you're changing it into an expression. Very good. So now I uncover. We need a sign and a factor. Sign and factor. Anybody? Can anyone help with the sign and the factor? We need a sign and a factor, otherwise I cannot continue.
Negative 3.
Very good. Because negative 3 times 2x is this, and negative 3 times 1 is this. Otherwise I cannot. It works. Good. Now I have to pull out the common factor. What is the common factor of these two terms? It screams back at us. 2x plus 1. And what is left in parentheses after I remove this and I remove this?
8x minus 3.
Indeed, 8x minus 3. If 2x plus 1 is 0, then x is negative 1/2. If 8x minus 3 is 0, then x is 3/8. What was the difficulty with this problem? The difficulty was the fact that the leading coefficient was not 1. And this is the longest procedure. And this is the most difficult if you want. So I had to make sure that I incorporated the 16 into the product. Then I had to find those two numbers. Then I had to replace the middle term using these two numbers into two terms. Still the same. 8x minus 6x is still the same. But then I had to factor by grouping. And then I had to come out, I have to bring this out, and then I have 8x minus 3. Then I'm using the zero product principle. Many, many steps. So if 2x plus 1 is 0, I move 1, it's negative, divided by 2. I move negative 3 to the other side, it's positive, and divide by 8. That's the whole section of 6.6. This is it. We just need to practice. Any questions so far on this? Anybody? Do we feel a little bit better about this or still not?
How did we get 3/8?
3 divided by 8. These are linear equations that we studied a month and a half ago. If we need to review that, let's review it. Let me know. Is this better now? Yes? No? Maybe?
Yeah, a little bit.
Good, perfect. Let's continue. Let's choose others. Okay, this is the same idea. Let's see what else is here. We can choose anything you want. Yes, let's work on this one. So 2x squared plus 16x equals 0. Good. We can never divide by the variable. But I can simplify the equation dividing both sides by 2. I can always do that. Any equation can be simplified dividing both sides by a non-zero number. Good. So then I have x squared plus 8x equals 0. This divided by 2 is this. This divided by 2 is this. This divided by 2 is this. Now I have the equation to solve. It's x squared plus 8x equals 0. I will factor out the greatest common factor. I have to. What is the greatest common factor in this problem? Can anyone give us the greatest common factor here?
Is it x plus 8?
It's just x. These two terms have only x in common. What is left in parentheses?
X plus 8?
Indeed. Let's check. X times x, correct. X times 8, correct. So we have two options. If the first factor is 0, if the second factor is 0, then x is negative 8. So we got two solutions. Let's see if we have questions on this problem. Is this okay? Moving on. Okay. Let's continue. Let's see what else we find. Okay. Is that a yes? Should we continue with this one? What do you think?
Yes.
Very good. Awesome. Let's do that. So we have 3x and x minus 2 equals 5x squared minus 7x. Perfect. Remember, I can use the zero product principle only if two conditions are fulfilled. I have 0 on one side and the product on the other. Otherwise, I cannot use the zero product principle. So this is not set up. I have to distribute, I have to move the terms to the other side, set it equal to 0. That's my first step. 3x squared minus 6x minus 5x squared plus 7x equals 0. This is a mandatory step. Okay, I accomplished the 0 on one side, but I don't have a product on the left yet. Of course, I have to combine like terms. Negative 2x squared and plus x equals 0. At this stage, I realize there is a negative leading coefficient. No one will ever force me to solve an equation with a negative leading coefficient. I'll multiply both sides by negative 1. This is not an expression. Do not confuse the expression with an equation. In an expression, I'm not allowed to multiply by negative 1. In an equation, I can because I multiply both sides. But if this is an expression and I'm only asked to factor, I can never do this. But it's an equation. So this times negative 1, this times negative 1, this times negative 1. What is the greatest common factor on the left-hand side? The greatest common factor on the left-hand side. Please, anybody?
X.
Yes, indeed. What is left in parentheses?
Negative 2x plus 1.
Why negative? It's 2x minus 1. X times 2x is this. X times negative 1 is this. So we have two options. If the first factor is 0, done. If the second factor is 0, then I have 1/2. Is this okay? Please ask any question. Okay. This is identical with the previous one. We distribute and then move terms around. Okay, let's work on this one. You choose, remember. If you want any problem, we will work on any problem. So 14x minus 5 equals 2x plus 1 squared. Okay. What do you think we need to do as the first step? What first step we need to perform here? Please, anybody? It's okay if you're wrong. Just remember, all the work has to be completed by Monday night for test 3 on Tuesday. And please come to class on Tuesday. We're starting module 7. Okay, can anyone direct us or tell us what to do as the first step?
Square the 2x plus 1.
Indeed, excellent, thank you. I have no choice. So 14x minus 5. How many terms do I get when I square a binomial?
3.
Exactly, a trinomial. Please remember that. Thank you very much. And the formula is very easy. The first term squared plus 2 times the first times the second plus the second term squared. This is the first step, and this needs to be performed at the very beginning. Good. Next step in line. I have to move everything to one side and have 0 on the other. So 14x minus 5 minus, it's not 14x squared, I don't know why I wrote 14, so minus 4x squared minus 4x and minus 1. Good. At this point, I have to rearrange the polynomial into a trinomial in descending order and then start the factoring strategy. So negative 4x squared and plus 10x and then minus 6 equals 0. I refuse to solve an equation. I cannot do this in an expression, but in an equation I can. I will divide both sides by negative 2. This divided by negative 2 is 2x squared. This divided by negative 2 is negative 5x. This divided by negative 2 is positive 3. This divided by negative 2 is 0. The factoring and the simplification will always, factor and simplify should always be in your mind when you work on a math problem. Always, 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 always. Factor and simplify. So I simplified. Now I have to factor. It's in descending order. No negative leading coefficient, no special product, because this is not a perfect square. This is not a perfect square. 1 is not the leading coefficient, so it's the long procedure. Meaning, I need two numbers whose product is and whose sum is. Can anyone give us the number that is the product and the number that is the sum before we start the procedure of finding those numbers?
And 2 and 3.
What is the product? I need the product and the sum. Based on the previous examples, can anyone give us the product and the sum?